Margaret Koolman of Soul Astrology. Although this new moon is in Aquarius, the emphasis all the month is Pisces. Venus has joined the Sun and Moon in Aquarius on the 2nd of February, at the same time as Mars moved from Aquarius into Pisces, and Mercury followed Mars on the 5th of February. So the central emphasis will be on using the Pisces in an Aquarian way. This is the central principle of the time we're living in, bringing the best of Pisces into the Aquarian age. And it is the best of Pisces this month. Neptune is there, of course. Chiron also, suggesting the possibility of healing spiritual rifts. And now we have Mars and Mercury together with them. This first week especially, following the full moon, the last week as well. The Mars effect in Pisces is that we're all particularly physically and emotionally susceptible to what's going on with everyone else in the world. Maybe particularly the people around us, but the general flavour of the time. Because in Pisces there are no boundaries. Pisces is the sea of human experience. It's as though it's the very atmosphere that surrounds the earth that we all walk about in. And Mars is the energy system of the body, the energy we use to do things with, to move ourselves, to be alive. And there is Mercury together with it, our ability to bring our awareness to consciousness and to understand it. Mercury is movement, the movement of thought, the movement of bodies, the movement of the air, the movement of water, the emotions. So it's our communication with each other through these movements, and of course through the words we use. The sharing of experience on all levels. In order to do this without causing pain, we need to be aware and sensitive to how it is with our own self, but also, of course, with other people. And in this chart, the beauty of the connections that bunch in Pisces make is the trine to Saturn, who always holds a sense of responsibility, a sense of necessity, the facts, the truth, and both ends connecting with sextiles, the green lines to Pluto, showing that whatever it is we're learning and understanding at this time, whatever it is we're sharing, it is potentially life-transforming. That Neptune should be part of this process suggests that there is truth in what we experience. The only time that we are likely to be making errors is when we get too much into our heads. The square is to Jupiter, all those red lines. Jupiter in Aquarius still connecting favourably with Venus in Aquarius, where we think we are able to be detached. So saying too much when you think you've got a detached perspective, when you think you know what's right, could easily separate you from the necessary sensitivity to intuit, to empathise with what's really going on. If you find yourself in a good flow of words, stop, breathe, sense into yourself, and from that inner stability, let yourself feel out to what's actually going on. The principle of Aquarius that the sensitivity supports is that everyone gets an equal hearing, that everyone is respected equally. So even if a person is busily telling you what to do, they need as much respect as you would want in their position. It doesn't mean obeying others, but recognizing that they're coming from their point of growth, just as you are coming from yours. It's a time for hearing people out, letting people say what they're saying, not making conversation, about argument and who's right. With Uranus and Jupiter connecting so beautifully together, there is every possibility that individuals in the flow of speech and thought may find they have a courage which pushes their flow. But equally, that connection suggests that when we are prepared to stand back into our own space and pay attention from there, when we listen, we can hear the truth. The strength in Pisces is the sense of being one with all humanity. There is a loving flow, an indiscriminate loving of all humanity. At its best, it reflects the best of Venus in Aquarius, loving all simply because they are. The difference with Pisces is the empathy. And this is where we need the Aquarian sense of individuality to be, as it were, a boundary, so that we remain aware of what we are picking up. To empathise with someone else's worry and fear is a destructive thing if you allow it through into your system. It can destroy your own certainty. It can weaken your determination. You can lose your way. The Aquarian part of this is to appreciate how someone else is feeling, to let them be there, to be beside them, strong in your connection, yet not taking on their struggle. Remaining within your own field, you become able to hear your own inner voice more clearly. This month will be a time where meditation becomes sweet and silent, and the still small voice within becomes audible. At the full moon, on the 25th of February, that day Venus moves into Pisces also. So from then on, we will probably be tested even more on the boundary thing. On the other hand, it can also be a very loving time. Potentially, with all the experience of these first 2 weeks of the month, we will be listening really well to other people. Just before the full moon, Mercury will move retrograde until the 17th of March, staying within Pisces that whole time. And when it moves forward in March, it takes another month before it leaves Pisces. So we have Mercury in Pisces now until the middle of April. Plenty of time to experiment with different methods of hearing inwardly, and plenty of time to practice our patience with ourselves and those around us, and traffic conditions and weather. For much of that time, Saturn will be holding the trine connection, so the voice within will be bringing much wisdom. Saturn's connection can sometimes feel hard, can be a bit depressing. The sense of the burden that a lot of work ahead can feel like. So in order to get things done, one needs to work in his style. And the style of Saturn is to get yourself organised, all the pieces you're going to need to hand, to set a time aside for when a task is to be approached, to gently give oneself breaks so that one's system's not overtaxed. And working in this way, carefully, steadily, we can achieve great things. The difficulty that people seem to have been having in the last month of actually getting things done may well have been reflected by Mars moving through Aquarius, which does tend to hold itself separate and is at right angles to the Saturn's position. Now that it's trine, the energy works together with Saturn, as long as we use Saturn's own style. So now could be a very good time, this first week following the new moon to decide exactly how we need to go about achieving what we want and endeavouring to stick to that programme. There is a pathway through the woods that reveals itself to the eyes of your soul. Each soul sees its own path, although you walk that path with all humanity. Be humble as you walk, yet with your head held high, for your perceived path is glorious in the light you love. Be humble, because those beside you walk in their glory also. Each one's experience is of the glory of one, yet that experience is uniquely one's own. Be humble in the face of another's struggle, and in their joy also, for each one of you is loved more than human frailty can believe. You are safe. Trust your greater self.